So in this video, I'm trying to sort of look at how it can create this exact visualization in three.js, so the transparent window and stuff. So that will mean that I'll need to split this mesh into bits rather than just exporting the whole building as a single unit. And that will mean so exporting just the building, just the windows, and going through the list of windows on the side, you'll see it sort of actually identifies them differently. They have different names that will be exported to three.js. So I'll just rename the room 001 to building so that I can export using that name to three.js. Eventually, you get to realize that it actually goes into three.js with that name as well. So I'll just export it as GLTF and go into the specific location in the folders. I'll need to select the right format and then textures folder, and then make sure I select the object only, export GLTF, and that means I've exported just the building. Fundamentally, it doesn't actually export with the rest of the mesh, such as the windows and the ceilings and the floor. So I'll need to export those separately. So what I'll do next is export the window. I'll probably work with a single window now to see how that works before I export the others. So I'll export as GLTM as well. Give it and make sure I have the right selection as well. Make sure it's selected and then export as GLTF. And then I'll see what it looks like in three.js. You'll see that it's just the building walls I've exported. The windows haven't been exported because I've selected a single object to export from here. So I'll probably export this ceiling. I'll rename it to ceiling. I'll just select that just to get I'll just delete the MetaQuest tree and name it building. Make sure I have the right option selected and export the LTF. So going back to three.js, it's same thing, but it's still linking to MetaQuest 3 building. So I'm just going to delete the MetaQuest 3 building files. But then it shouldn't show because we are loading the MetaQuest 3 file. So we need to go change the name to uh, building. So I'll just go up to where I've called the function and all the functions from there. Generate exhibition model and go there and change the name of the building, the name of the mesh to building.gltf. I'll now probably do something a bit better. So now it's loaded the building. I'll probably do something a bit better. Probably list out the different mesh objects. So I have the window 001 still needing to be loaded. What I'll need to do in that case is I'll need to load more than just the building this time since I've selected a single object export from Blender. So I'll probably create a variable where I'll put the names of the mesh objects and then dynamically load them to just be a list basically, mesh list, and then I'll put the names of the files within the list and then load them dynamically. The whole one. I'll need to use this variable within a for loop for each I'll need to replace array with mesh list, and I'll need to copy the loader code into the for loop, then replace the URL with the element. So I'll just remove building plus on should load the building because it loads the first item there. But then the window needs to have the GLTF as well for it to be loaded. So now it loads the window because now it's loading the building separately from the window. But what I need to do next is go into the Blender model and probably export the ceiling and floor. I'll go into File, Export, and GLTF, and rename that to ceiling. Let's make sure I have the right selections and export GLTF. I'll probably do the same thing for the floor, so I'll need to get out the floor mesh, my floor, and then File Export, GLTF, give me a name, floor, and export GLTF. And now all I have to do to update the three.js app is to add in the names of the objects or files I've just exported. To floor, GLTF first, so we can see the floor. And if we pull out and we look at model, we'll see the floor is already loaded. So now we have access to the floor. We can change the material of the floor basically. So we'll go ahead and add the ceiling as well. And that should add the ceiling as well. Now, continuing from where we left off, let's check out how we can add materials to windows. I'm going to say if element equals window, just going to put that closing brace and head window. And we'll probably, first of all, check what we have, print out the entire model. That will give us some idea about what exactly we deal with. So if we press come to the scene and press F12, so we could look at adding safe there. It's very obvious or press that window. So that's what the window is, and go to group and group we have window 002. So actually 002 from Blender because it's 001 here, or in Blender window is bearing 002. So it sort of uses the naming here rather than the naming that we've given here. It sort of ignores this for some reason. So we would need to refer to it as window 002. So how do we actually access this window 002? So we would like to actually paste or print out this mesh itself so that there's sorts of different parts to the mesh actually. So we need to actually target this specific mesh that's the window itself that we need to change the transparency. So we could start to sort of drill down to the specific element hidden there. And what we'll probably do is I'll close this, Control B, close that file window. So I'll start with now we see the model as it is that under this model actually have a group there. So under the group we have children, which is another group. So I'm just gonna type model dot children and see what we'll come up with. So this time we get to see the group itself, and looking down again we see the children. So we're sort of going to get the first I element because the children is a list actually. So if you type 0 in there, next thing we see is actually the list of the group itself that has the children. So we could now say the children. We should see the list of the different mesh that we have. And if we decide to go with the children and 0, we probably will hit the first item in there, and that's the window 002 underscore 1. So we need to be sure which particular window we're dealing with so that we can change the material. So they have, each one has its own material already set there. We could change the color of the material and see which one affects. So we could say, so now since we know this is the object we're talking about, we can just delete this and work directly with this to say the material and allow the pilot to update this for us. And if we go back into the, so I'll just make a little update here just to get the view refreshed. And we'll see that we're actually updating this. So now it's not loading anything else because we're not filtering out this. So we're going to put back if element dot window, and then I'll close this. I'll bring this back in and just change that to window underscore 001, and then it should load. So now we can see how we sort of affecting only that the frames there. So if I come back here and change this to 1, we'll see that we only modify that, and then we can change this to 2, and that's the mesh that we actually need to change material. So let's try the 3 and see what it affects the base. So we could actually name this, put them separately, and then add the particular material that we want for them. So I could put that as bar drone parent window, close that, and put that as 2. So I could now say transparent window dot material, and you can see that that's what it affects. So all we need to do is start to work on this material to modify that window. So we'll do this in the next video. Yeah, see you there. Cheers, bye.